Hello viewers, welcome to this No Man's Sky video. What you're looking at now is vanilla No Man's Sky, 1080p, traditional game, how it looks, how it feels, the old nostalgia. There we go, quite a kind of abandoned planet. And what we're going to try today is just to show you the difference between this and a version of the game where I'm using a reshade to sort of adjust some of the settings. So this is what it looks like with the reshade switched on. Quite a big difference on the ship there. A lot brighter colour and more contrasty. And the planet as well, the surface, when I stop moving, you can see the details. It's kind of, it's more textured, feels. And we're going to just have a little look around on this planet. We can try flying a little bit. Just compare with and without the shaders. So we've still got the shaders on here, and now they're off. So it's not a massive difference at first glance, but there they are back on. You can see the colour is shifting quite a bit. I've got a shade which is supposed to kind of give more natural colour, and what I think that's doing is taking away a bit of the colour that's coming from the atmosphere. So the ground under normal No Man's Sky would have a slightly greener tinge to it, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, so everything's got a slightly greeny tinge, which I think is because of the sky colour. But it kind of makes everything look a little flat and faded. Whereas when I put the shade on, the colour shifts to have less of that influence in the atmosphere, and you can see this just because of the contrast and vibrancy. It kind of sticks out and makes it more 3D a little bit. Makes it stand out quite well. I don't think you're losing the visual pop that old No Man's Sky has. In fact, maybe you're gaining a little bit extra here. It just makes it a little bit more, I don't know. I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just a little bit more bright and breezy, let's say, a little bit more modern. But you're still playing vanilla No Man's Sky. So here's this beautiful pink outpost. Now, if I press the go back into what you would normally see, it's got that faded look. I guess that you could argue that that's that vintage look, the faded colour. And I do love that. Don't get me wrong, it's more painterly, it's more cell shaded vibe. I'm not going to say I don't like the original. I'm just playing with these new tools that I discovered, just doing a test video just to see what I think about the difference. In fact, I really like this pink outpost. I think it looks cool as hell. So here it is now. You see that pink? It's a little bit more vivid, shocking pink. Could be a bit over the top, it just maybe loses a bit of something. Could be, but it's different. It's like playing the same game but with just a slightly different feeling. Now look how the light there shines on the back. Let's see, compare that to the normal version. I'm gonna have to get my life power sorted out. Hang on. So look, there is the normal No Man's Sky version, and you can see everything's kind of lit up, and the shadows have got that slightly kind of lit up, faded effect that you, is kind of reminiscent of sort of Instagram filters and Polaroid camera shots, you know? Whereas this gives you black, kind of dark shadows, so the blacks are black on here, whereas here there's a sort of purple tinge, which is kind of the vintage look. So, you know, you could say that this, where the lights are shining, sort of, it kind of gives you a certain effect. And that is just, it's just a different look. It's just, it's nice to try this out, really, if you're a total nerd like me. Anyway, let's go inside and top up my oxygen. Okay, life support. That's better. So we're inside now, might as well check the difference. This is normal No Man's Sky. This is the reshade. It's not that different. And this way, regular No Man's Sky. And that's the reshade. Just kind of ups the contrast a bit. Phase coolant theta, nice one. Getting a theta already. Let's go and have a look at the planet again now. There is some quite nice water on this planet. I like, it's got some very deep chasms as well. But what I like about this is you see the rock effects there on the cliffs. It's much more punchy than you would normally see on vanilla No Man's Sky. So if we take it away there, that's the look you get with vanilla. And yeah, I like the building with the faded look, but these kind of rock walls with that faded look kind of loses a little bit of texture and just looks a bit like a lump of clay. Whereas that looks a lot more like a kind of rocky cliff. So, you know, there are pros and cons to all these things. And look, the distance, you can see kind of sharp details in the distance here. And here it's a little bit more faded and looks more like the set of an old cowboy film done in Technicolor and John Wayne coming over the horizon. Whereas this is like, I'm on a planet. It's kind of, right, I'm in space. It has a different feel to it. Let's see if I can get to some water. I might as well use the ship. What I've noticed is this reshade, I think, makes the scan lines look even more present. You can kind of see the scan lines more, probably because of the contrast. Forgotten how to take off. Just take off. Maybe it's got no fuel. Let's have a look. Ah, yes. Collect plutonium. I have to switch the HUD on at some point. It's the plutonium. Can't see a thing. HUD free. Some over here. No, there's no thing for me there. Let's just find some, aren't I? I'm trapped here now. Until I get some plutonium. This is what happens with No Man's Sky. You've got to have an adventure. There's no I'm messing around and I've got to get back to my ship. I can't... Oh gosh, where am I? I can't, I'm underwater. I am actually underwater. I need plutonium, please. So we're getting to check the water here. That's pretty nice. And then what I'm going to do is just switch it back to... Right, this is regular No Man's Sky. And to be honest, looks pretty nice. Regular No Man's Sky looks pretty nice. And then back to reshade. It's kind of like the colour is... The brightness of that colour there is more isolated. I think we're getting into dark. Nighttime is approaching. That's regular No Man's Sky. I do like the tint that you get when you've got that purple tint. That, yeah. And then, whereas with the reshade, when the night comes in, you know, it's getting dark. Really sense it's getting dark. But in original No Man's Sky, you've still got those lighter shadows. The shadows are still coloured shadows, sort of like a two-tone photography. And there we are, swimming in original No Man's Sky, and then swimming with the reshade at night. It's nighttime swimming with the reshade, and nighttime swimming with regular No Man's Sky. It's the reshade, because that's what we're testing. I do like, it's kind of got that dark, you kind of feel like the colour here is it's just a different experience. You say, who knew that these shaped things were there all along in the original No Man's Sky, and those kind of ended up on planets, not underwater, in later version, much more recent versions. That similar shaped object with the hexagons. I've got to do my life support and pick up some plutonium.
Technology recharge.
Okay, lots of plutonium here. Just a little contrast. Here we go. There's regular No Man's Sky. You can see that purple shade. Whenever it's dark and you're in a shadow, instead of blackness, you see kind of purple shade, which is fine. But this you have a more sense of darkness with this one, with the reshade. Alright, I think there's plenty of unit plutonium. I'm gonna be chased in a moment if I'm not careful. Right, let's see if I can get back to the ship. I'm just tempted to... Oh, I think dawn is coming. I think the night is ending. Got a day beginning. So let me know what you prefer. Do you still prefer this, which is the vanilla No Man's Sky? How it's meant to look? Or do you prefer... Would you like to try playing with these settings? I like both, to be honest, but I'm just curious to see how it looks on different planets. One thing I will show you once I get back to the ship, if I can find it. Might have to put the HUD on to find the ship because I've no idea where it is. Yeah, one thing I was going to show you is when we fly out into space, you might even be able to see it here. is that the planets look crisper in space. So let's just go back to regular. Then go back to the HUD. When you're flying in space, you will see when you're approaching planets that they do look a little bit sharper, a little bit crisper. Okay. I'm going to switch the HUD back on so I can find my ship. There she is. So this is No Man's Sky like you've not seen it before. I do remember though on Nexus mods, even in the early days of No Man's Sky, there were people making mods that reshaded the game a bit, so it's not really a new video that I'm making. It's just that I never really tried those out. I didn't fancy it much. I just felt like doing it today. Help! I ran out of gas. And now I don't know where the hell. Let me up. Let me up. That's better. Now where am I? Closer. Phew. Alright, well, I don't want this video to go on forever. Let's just go back to normal No Man's Sky for a moment. Back to the reshade. Alright, let's take off. Not enough fuel. Luckily, in the old days, you just needed plutonium and then on you go. Didn't have to manufacture fuel or anything like that. Nowadays, uranium is the plutonium. So let's just have a look. You can see these planets, how they look like. I'm going to turn the HUD off. Sorry. There we go. Okay, so let's just look at these. See that one there? That's how it looks like in normal No Man's Sky. And that's how it looks like with this reshade. Normal. It just sort of looks a bit more like a flat disc there, and it looks a little bit more distinct here. I don't think I'm going to visit that planet. I just wanted to give you a sense of how things look. This is the old one. It feels like I'm flying a bit through pea soup. So here, yeah, it feels lovely, but like floating in kind of space soup slightly. I feel like I could be underwater almost. I feel like that green, that kind of look. Now, does that look more like space to you? That's a little bit more space, possibly. Just looks a little bit more of a vacuum. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little test, and if you're interested in the shaders that I used, the settings that I've got for this video, please drop me a line and I'll see if I can get them for you. Alright, thanks for watching.